Hello and welcome to Nirmal Bang, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hira Dadia. We have with us Ria Singh, technical analyst currencies joining in. Ria, welcome to the show. Ria, after the budget and as we are nearing the monetary policy, there is weakness that continues with the Indian rupee. Are you expecting that weakness to continue or do you see any bouts of strength?
I think the weakness that is coming into the Indian rupee is spurred by the government's record market borrowing plan for the next fiscal year. Now, if you look at the borrowing plan that has already happened in the current one, it's huge, in order to meet the well supported demand, well supported recovery that was needed in the Indian economy. So, apart from that, the current borrowing plan that they have set in the budget is also, parring in the weakness, because if you look at the Indian bonds, they have started to trade higher because of the recent sharp rise in the yields. So this is leading, for the RBI and the coming MPC, that it could delay the policy normalization because there is already a sharp tightening of financing condition that is happening due to the demand that is coming into the bond market. So this could lead to further delay into the yeah, the rate hikes that we were expecting that could come in the Feb MPC meet. So I think in order to, of course, there is a risk of inflationary pressure that is coming into the uh, Indian market. And even if you look at the statement from the FM, uh, uh, there is a clear indication that the inflation or the core inflation is already quite high. So I think this is leading into the, this is feeding into the weakness into the Indian rupee, that the RBI could delay the hike rates because of the sharp tightening happening due to the rise in the bond yields. So I think going forward, if the statements from the RBI will definitely provide some guidelines as to where the central bank is, we're pitching in with respect to the budget that has been released, and also where they are seeing the timeline for the rate hikes. So, and what are their projections for the the coming quarters with respect to the inflation numbers? So I think once those guidelines coming, it will lead into where the Indian rupee momentum will head. But right now, it is in the weakness to a consolidation phase until then.
Right. So with that, if you see in terms of the dollar as well, that is also weakening. And the one of the main reasons is on the back of the accommodative stance that the Fed has maintained against the trend followed by other major central banks. So, what's the kind of direction are you seeing, and how do you see it impacting the rupee simultaneously?
If you look at the current inflation numbers that the US has been witnessing, it does show the pressure that is coming on on the Federal Reserve. Uh, 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 as to where they how they'll tackle it. Before there were talks that Fed could go for an aggressive increase into their uh, rates. But if you look at the current statements that has been released from Powell, that though the inflation is at strongest in the 4 decades, they are still not yet ready to towards getting the towards going for a rate hikes in at least for now. So they are quite responsive on that part, that they'll continue to being accommodative unless there is steady pace of recovery into the US economy. So his resilience, and of course there is other question of the getting the Fed nominated again for the another cycle, because there are nominations with respect to the Fed head again. So I think there is a lot of mismatch, news that is there into the with respect to the US altogether. The inflation numbers are coming on a higher side. And in order to subdue that, what will be the steps that will be taken into the current FOMC meet will provide aid into setting the projections and forecast for the coming quarters. So unless that, of course, like you said, Fed has been deviated from the current, monetary tightening that is going on in the UK. Even if you look at the developing countries like India, um, RBI has been taking, stand in getting the liquidation out of the economic through VRRs and so on. So, what are the timelines with respect to getting the liquidity under control? Will set forward the path for the dollar index in the coming, sessions.
Right. And you have the markets which are awaiting the Bank of England decision, and ahead of it, the pound has gained the most. So, do you think it will continue, or do you think if there is any negative news on that front, you could see a major downtick?
Bank of England did surprise in December when it went for a rate hike. And this has led to the assumption that the Bank of England will continue with its aggressive, hawkish stand. And this is one of the reason why there is such a strong bullish momentum or a stronger hold that is coming into the pound. Now, whether the Bank of England continue with the tightening of the policy will definitely get related in the statements that will be released shortly. But if it doesn't, because if you look at the inflation is a problem that they have been tackling for quite some time. And if the CPI inflations, if they don't go for a rate hike, taking into consideration the kind of effect the new variant has caused on the economy, and the looming squeeze on the household incomes, this could lead to a downgrade onto the overall UK's GDP growth forecast for the current year. So this could lead to a Bank of England a holding of the rates rather than again going for a rate hike. So, of course, the CPI inflation has, according to them, also is estimated to rise significantly. So, it will be kind of a juggling act for the current, in the current MPC, into the current monetary policy that they'll be going for. But all in all, there is expectation that, Bank of England could show rate rising to 1.25% by the end of the in the coming fiscal year. So there is a projection with respect to that. So I think the more subtle way will be going for a moderate or a modest tightening of policy over the next, over the coming quarters, rather than again going for a rate hike, taking into consideration the looming effect of the Omicron that is there into the current, GDP. So I think it will the if it goes for a rate hike, it will give the pound an extra boost. But if it doesn't, then the pound will come for a retraction or for a profit taking action.
Right. So, basis this, what are the strategies you would recommend?
The strategies that one can go forward with is buying into the USD INR, because it has been because if you look at the past three sessions, also it has been respecting 74.90 levels on the downside quite diligently. So you can buy into the USD INR above the level of 75.08 for a target of 75.25. Keep a strict SL at 74.90. The other strategy that you can go forward with is going long into the GBP INR above the level of 101.76 with the SL at 101.50 and target at 102. So these are the two strategies that you can go forward to. The most prudent way to trade into the GBP INR will be to wait unless the BOE statements comes in. And if it comes towards rate hike, it will definitely hit 102 into the domestic pair, and even 102.25 in the coming sessions. So wait for that event to pass and trade accordingly. in the GBP INR.
Right. So these are the strategies one should recommend, as Ria has been recommending. Thank you, Ria. Thank you, participants, as well, for joining in.
Thank you, Ian.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.